Crohn's is just post-traumatic stress disorder of the butthole, or it's just expressed through your intestines. And so I have a 4-step method for helping people recover from Crohn's. And the first part of that method is to understand. This video is going to touch on 3 of these 4 steps. To understand, we're going to skip diet for today. We'll mention it a little bit in this video, but we need to find and resolve. What do I mean by that? So just imagine somebody with post-traumatic stress, PTSD. They come back from a war. I actually just got out of the Ukraine war earlier this year, so I can share some of my experiences with that. But the typical soldier comes out of a war. They have PTSD. They hear a loud gunshot, and they're on edge because they think they're about to enter a firefight, and their life is on the line. So for this person, loud noises is the trigger. And instead of them crapping their pants when they hear this loud noise, they instead go into high alert. And those of us with Crohn's are going through a similar process. At some point in our lives, we experience something called a conflict shock. And mine was my dad taking away my Nintendo when I was younger. I've seen some people's conflict shock be, going into a war or having a fight with an ex-girlfriend. They're traumatic experiences. And I know the word traumatic kind of has more of a dramatic theme to it, like where it's like a life or death situation, but this can just be any stressful situation that just happened to hit you hard for whatever reason. So how do you help someone get over PTSD? We have to somehow convince that person that a loud noise is no longer a threat to them. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. The body went into overdrive in survival mode to help a person overcome a stressful event. So for me, let's use my example. My dad took away my Nintendo because my brother jumped off the house and broke his arm to impress a girl. And my dad took away the Nintendo for the whole summer. And I was like, oh my God, this is not fair. I'm gonna lose my mind. And this conflict theme, like anytime someone does something stupid now, I get super worked up. So if I see someone do something stupid, my brain is like, oh my God, we are in danger. Danger, 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 Will Robinson. Someone did something stupid. Our Nintendo's about to be taken away. Let's put the gut in overdrive to help us digest and absorb this hard to digest situation. Yes, that sounds very stupid because this process is controlled by the lizard brain. Our logical mind doesn't have much bandwidth, and when it gets overwhelmed in a stressful situation, the lizard brain takes over and all sorts of wackiness can ensue. So during that time of high arousal where my brain's just trying to figure out how to survive, it's trying to help protect me from encountering these types of situations or to be prepared for these types of situations, throughout the rest of my life. So every time I see stupid people now, my body is like, okay, something bad is going to happen. Anytime someone is angry, like my dad was angry people, something bad's gonna happen. Somebody's angry, I'm gonna get in trouble. And my autonomic nervous system just reacts. And this conflict just happens to go, my brain goes, oh, okay, I see how it is. This type of situation, we put the gut into overdrive. And when we resolve that situation, like when I encounter a stupid person, okay, oh, you make me angry, blah, 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 blah. All right, okay, all right, I've dealt with you, you're done, I'm done, I don't need to talk to you anymore. That is when someone will get symptoms. And this can happen multiple times a day. How many stupid people do we run into a day? How do we find these triggers? How do we find these things that are putting our gut into overdrive, that remind us of the original conflict shock? You just simply make a list of them. You live your day and you find what you get emotional about. I get emotional, or used to get emotional, when someone would ask me a stupid question. Look at me. Well, I think I did spell that right. Stupid. And then anytime I talk about GI doctors, I can get emotional. The neighbor next door right now, I don't think you guys can hear it, is playing really loud music. And there's this moment in my head where Psycho Mike could show up to the party and starts banging on the walls and doing all sorts of things. But luckily enough, I've been training my logical mind to catch this and go, hey, that's not productive. You need to make a YouTube video instead of starting a war with your next door neighbor. Be more productive. Even though it's not fair, it just is what it is right now. But GI doctors really, when I talk about GI doctors, curse words start to fly out of my mouth and whatnot. But I have trauma with them. I was with a GI doctor for 2 or 3 years, and he didn't tell me that he was using the specific carbohydrate diet on himself, which is a diet used to treat, Crohn's and colitis. It's not a very good diet, but, he didn't tell me about natural things. He just wanted to pump me full of drugs and take my money and waste my time. That was a very traumatic event for me. I remember I was on this diet and I was on the phone, and this guy had been stealing my money and, just leading me astray for 3 years. I remember him telling me this over on the phone. Mike, I understand where you're coming from. I'm on the diet myself. That's when Psycho Mike showed up to the party. So when you write down a list of things that you get emotional about, this is your post-traumatic stress. There is a stressful event. So let's say, okay, just talking about GI doctors makes me angry. Just seeing someone say something stupid makes me angry. Okay. Where did this idea originate from? Why do these things make me emotional, make me angry? It really helps to understand the building blocks that are going on behind here. Like what is an emotion? Like, people don't really understand, yet alone psychologists, like what an emotion is. And even if you look up in the dictionary, the definitions are pathetic. It is an internal force that pushes us towards pleasure and away from pain. That's all it is. That is all it is. We can overcomplicate it, but that's all we're trying to do. We want to look at this from a survival perspective. An emotion is an internal force to help us push something painful or harmful away, something that's going to decrease our survival away, and something that produces positive emotions. It is something that we want to get close to us, or a threat, a different way of dealing with a threat. I guess you could also say it that way. But something that is increasing our survival. So stupid people make me angry. Okay. Then I, for some reason, think that stupid people make me angry, are threatening my survival. Excuse me. GI doctors make me angry. Okay, then all that means is, for some reason, I perceive that GI doctors threaten my survival. How could that possibly be? Like, I'm talking in real simple logic here, guys. I'm a logic dork. I'm like a self-taught computer programmer, so bear with me. But it's super important. Anybody can get this. There are people who get whacked over the head and they lose certain memories, and their Crohn's and colitis disappears. We see everything through a lens of the past. So if stupid people make us angry, the only reason we feel this way is because of certain memories we have with stupid people. And my memory is my dad taking Nintendo. Dad incident. If I had more positive memories associated to stupid people, I would see stupid people as good and become happy when I encounter a stupid person. GI doctor, I associate with bad things because of my initial experience, that phone call that I had with him. But, I also get emails every single day of just all the dumb things that they do. So the question becomes, how do I not react to this? Well, the first step is becoming aware and finding them, which is the find part. And the next start is to resolve it. And how do we do that? Now there's again, this is very simple logic. We need to dampen these negative associations. Hey, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. These connections were made when the lizard brain was at the forefront. The lizard brain over-dramatizes things, especially negative things, in an effort to keep us safe. So we need to go back and analyze these traumatic events, with the logical mind, and, really be like, hey, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. I actually learned quite a bit from this experience, yada, yada, yada. You know what? I know a lot of, maybe they aren't really stupid. Maybe I should use a different word than stupid. And even I could put GI doctors in a positive light. You know what? Maybe, I believe they mean the best. They're just in a rough position. Blah blah blah. They actually create a lot of customers. Da 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 da. They gave me purpose. Blah 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 blah. There are scientifically proven techniques to neutralizing these emotional triggers, these triggers, But the first step, there's so many things you can do. There's EFT tapping, there's this, there's that, there's all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, all of these techniques break down into decreasing the negative charge, and increasing the positive charge. That's all it breaks down to at the end of the day. We are a collection of memories, and our memories are fueling our emotional triggers. That is it. Now, guys, I have opened up early access to my new 4-step mic method that comes with a 13-day protocol where I walk you through this step by step. Every day we're going to do exercises to implement these strategies to help you understand what your gut and mind is doing, the best dietary advice that we should be following, how to find your emotional triggers, and most importantly, how to resolve these emotional triggers. I have it all right here. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it right now, but this is an early access deal. There's a link in the description that goes over all of the details, but this is an insane discount, and there's only 13 spots left, and I'm doing this because I don't want to be overwhelmed while I'm still making updates to the course. So there's only going to be 13 spots, and this low price is only going to be available for until February 1st. So there's a very limited time. But guys, there's lots of free resources online on how to identify your emotional triggers, and I'm going to be making more videos about this soon. But yeah, this is this early access to my program. But this program has been crafted so specially because the really important thing about the information in my program that I've hyper simplified German New Medicine principles. Usually when you go to learn about GNM, there's a lot of information you don't technically need to know. It's overcomplicated, confusing terms. I love GNM and the discoveries of Dr. Hammer, but it really neglects, and I really don't think it's its place, but it really neglects how the mind works, how emotions work, how the mind processes trauma, stores trauma, reacts to trauma, and then the ways that specific things we can do to resolve that trauma. I go over tons of detail of this in the early access, so sign up while you still can. This is an insane deal, and I want you guys to have access to it.